What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So cannot believe some critics, and not just any critics. Some legends of the game, they started saying that the open bodybuilding is on the verge of decline and that it's gonna collapse. And that was just a few months back. Now have a look at this huge Italy Pro lineup where we have a total of 25 guys competing in the men's open. So all these competitors showing interest of competing multiple times, and that too in a single year. And we have to keep in mind, this is the third consecutive show in the last 4 or 5 weeks, starting with Tampa Pro then Texas Pro, where we saw such huge lineups, and that too some amazing bodybuilders. So let's first talk about a few guys who aren't in this lineup. First of all, we have Stephane Matala, who by the way never actually committed to doing this Italy Pro show, but the fact that he was looking so ready, especially in that update with Theo, and that is why people started to think that he might do this show. But it was always gonna be either Germany Pro or France Pro show for Stephane, and we do not have to wait that long to see him step on the stage, because all these shows, they are just 1 week apart. So the other name who is missing here, that is James Hollingshead, another guy who did not announce his next move, and he has been keeping things under the wrap. Since the man is looking so ready, there is a very high chance that he's gonna do one of these upcoming shows, and there is a very high chance that he might do one show before the Olympia this year to try and secure his Olympia spot for this year. Now let's talk about the guys who are gonna be there at this year's Italy Pro show. And I think first of all, we have to talk about Urs, because I do believe he's going to be the biggest attraction here. And the reason is very simple. This is his men's open debut. So, Urs has got a huge fan following. He is after all one of the biggest stars in that entire bodybuilding world at the moment. And we are all very excited to see Urs without that weight cap, and how his physique appears without having to suck down, without losing all that muscle that he was doing previously to make the weight cut off. So at the moment the man is up by close to 30 pounds compared to his weight cut off. So let's say he comes in with another 25 pounds of solid muscle. It doesn't matter what anyone else says. It doesn't matter how tall he is. That is gonna make one hell of a difference, because you cannot deny 25 pounds is so much muscle on a frame, and that can change the entire flow and entire look of any physique. And this is going to be very interesting to watch. Before you scroll or blink too hard, have you subscribed yet? Please don't make me bring out the emotional blackmail. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. It's free, it's painless, and that makes me look way cooler than I actually am. Lot of momentum and the most hype after delivering some sensational performance at both Tampa Pro and Texas Pro. And he also released some more physique updates, which were taken about 10 days out. So Quinton of course is the favorite in many people's eyes out there leading into this show. And we have seen how the reigning Olympia champion Sam Sandauda have been talking a lot about the extent of improvements that Quinton has been able to make in these past 2 weeks. And this could be a similar story as last year, when Quinton showed up so much better for Toronto Pro compared to what we saw at the New York Pro. So it is gonna be very interesting to see whether Quinton shows up looking hard, while at the same time, he maintains all that muscle, all that pop, and all that wow factor. So there has been very little talk, and I have seen barely anyone mentioning these two guys, Moh Nsour and Theo leading into this show. So how about giving them much deserved respect, because these two, along with Sergio Ever Jr., they are the 3 former Olympians in that lineup. So Theo is the one who has been slapped on a lot, when his statistics are just better than every single pro in this lineup. I mean, this guy hasn't missed a single Olympia qualification in the last 3 years consecutively. And this time, he's coming in a lot bigger and more rounder. And we know he's someone who is gonna be on in terms of conditioning anyway. And Moh Nsour is also someone who went up to 300 pounds during this past off-season to bring a bigger and a more competitive package this time around. So Marc Hector also must be mentioned here. Based on some of the physique updates that we have seen from him, he can be one of the biggest contenders to win this year's Italy Pro Show. Tall guy with a very large frame, very wide, very aesthetic. And his quads, which were the biggest weakness on him, they are looking way better compared to previous years. So he's someone who can definitely be in the mix for this year's Italy Pro title and for the Olympia qualification. Now let's talk about the guy who has the most experience in this lineup, Sergio Oliva Jr., who is also the oldest guy in this lineup. And that also means that he's the guy who has the most amount of muscle maturity. So would we be surprised if Sergio actually ends up winning this show? The man has been looking pretty damn awesome leading into this show, possibly the best he has ever looked. And we have to keep in mind, for Sergio it's now or never. He has to win one of these 3 shows, and he has to earn his Olympia spot, because the man isn't getting any younger. And all these other guys I just mentioned, they are coming up so fast and also improving at such a fast pace. So let me know what you guys think. Can Sergio win this show? So Tim Budesham also had a great long season last year. He got a few high placings, including a 2nd place finish at Van Pro. So guess what? Tim is back, representing Germany here, although Urs is also gonna be there. And this time, Tim also took a full year off in order to improve his physique, to put on more muscle and more density, especially in his posterior chain. Now we know Tim isn't gonna be the most aesthetic or the most pretty physique in this lineup. Neither is he a proper mass monster. But based on the past record, it's kind of easy to say that he's gonna be one of the hardest and one of the most conditioned guy, because we have seen him coming in hard as nails and ripped to the bone in the past. He's one of those grainy looking guys, but the chances of him winning this show, they are kind of dependent on a lot of these top guys coming in off and missing their mark. So Louis Breed is another worthy mention here, a totally different physique compared to all the guys who most of the people out there have in their predictions to be in the mix for this year's Italy Pro Show. So Louis is another guy who isn't a very aesthetic bodybuilder. He's a mass monster, a freak of nature, and he thinks he can win this show because the kind of conditioning that Louis Breed brings, that is some of the best out there in the entire pro league. But again, for that to happen, he will be needing some help from some of these more aesthetically pleasing bodybuilders, guys with better shape, better structure, and better flow than him. Because it's a fact that conditioning can only carry you so far. Now that being said, I must say what an awesome lineup this is. So if you ask me, I have Quinton Beastwood winning this show, and I do believe that Urs Kalashinsky, he's gonna be in the mix, possibly in that top 3. But let me know what you guys think. Who did you guys have winning? And let me ask you one question. Can we see Urs surprising us all and shocking the entire lineup by winning his first ever pro show? Let me know what you guys think. And also hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video. And smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.